Well, hello there, and welcome to another episode of Scouting 5, recapping scouting news from around the world for the week of May 10th, 2021. I'm Scouter Ken, and I'm once again recording from St. Albert, Alberta. Well, if you still need some encouragement to get a COVID-19 vaccination, the Indiana State Department of Health announced last Monday that it is partnering with the Girl Scouts of Central Indiana to give out free Girl Scout cookies at some of the vaccine sites across the state. The Girl Scouts of Central Indiana are apparently donating roughly 70,000 packages of cookies to the vaccination effort due to a pandemic-related shortfall in sales this year. The donated cookies are separate from those donated for Operation Cookie Drop, which sends cookies to military service members, veterans, first responders, and healthcare heroes. Currently in Indiana, anybody aged 16 and older are eligible to receive a COVID-19 vaccine for free at one of more than 700 sites around the state. Hopefully, yours is one of the ones that gets cookies. Scouting for food is still ongoing in at least some places around the United States. And one of those is Nutley, New Jersey. More than 90 young Boy Scouts and Cub Scouts from around Nutley evidently broke a record, collecting a just whopping amount of donated food, running around town gathering items from families. The total haul was 44,147 food items, which was more than 10,000 over their previous high, which was collected 2 years ago, roughly a 30% increase then. In 2013, they collected just over 10,000 pounds of food, just for, comparison. So monumental effort, monumental generosity from their community too, which is really, really great to see, especially in this time. There's also probably a significant amount of a need for that much food at the food pantries and food banks that Scouting for Food supports. So really great to see that, not only are Scouts still getting out and performing this particular civic duty in parts of the U.S. at any rate, but also that the community has responded with just staggering generosity. And elsewhere in New Jersey, the West Patterson Scouts BSA Troop 238 and Webelos Cub Scouts Pack 31 came together last weekend to pick up trash that had accumulated near the Boys and Girls Clubs / Senior Center located at Memorial Drive in Woodland Park, New Jersey. They picked up trash across the street at Memorial Middle School as well, collecting in total about 100 pounds of garbage. This cleanup was evidently part of Boy Scouts of America's Trash the Trash Day program, which is actually part of an international project to clean up the earth and show the world what scouting is about. Nepal Scouts, the Scout Association in Nepal, has announced the formation of now 753 local Scout committees as of the 28th of April, 2021. A significant expansion that sees the scouting movement expand to a very localized level of governance across the country. This is sort of part of a new organizational roadmap for scouting in Nepal and represents the fruit of a partnership between Nepal Scouts and the government of the country with, the express aim of expanding and significantly growing scouting and scouting membership across the entire country. And this marks a bit of a reversion as well. So back in about 2015, Nepal Scouts had to reframe into a federal model of governance as part of an integration process with the new constitution. The country went into a more federalized system back in 2015, and the Scouts were kind of dragged along with that and had to sort of rework their organizational model to match that federal system. However, starting in October of 2020, they began appointing leading committees at the provincial level, and since then have managed to localize the association down to all of these much smaller administrative divisions that stretch really across the entirety of the country and allow for, much more localized delivery of governance and hopefully better programming. I'm pretty sure we covered about a year ago, maybe a little more, how the Afghanistan Scout Association had rejoined the World Organization of the Scouting Movement. This was back in January of 2020, kind of capping off a resurgence of the scouting movement in Afghanistan following a significant period of reconstruction in the wake of the Taliban being overthrown. Of course, scouting was, I believe, completely banished from the country by the Taliban. Over the last year, Scouts in Afghanistan have been working on peace building and youth development initiatives in their communities, pretty much all across the country. They've been trying to encourage more Afghan youth to join their membership and then to equip those young people with the skills to contribute towards building a stronger and more peaceful society in the country. They've been holding training, most recently in April, for Scout leaders and youth from across Afghanistan who want to be involved in Scouting and to contribute to achieving the UN Sustainable Development Goals, SDGs. We've heard a fair bit about those here in Scouts Canada as well. The training was offered actually as part of the World Organization of the WASM's Messengers of Peace initiative, which again is something that's been rolling out sort of globally over the past decade. Now is, of course, contributing very directly to Scouting in Afghanistan, which is awesome to see. Over in Indonesia, Scouting volunteers formed what they called the Pramuka Emergency Kitchen to assist affected communities in South Jakarta. This was actually back in February. A total of about 25 Scouts contributed to building and running the emergency kitchen in shifts. The supplies for the kitchen were donated by Indonesia's National Zakat Agency, and the aim was really to help communities that were affected by flooding and other disasters that had befallen the area at around that time. The kitchen provided mineral water, coffee, tea, instant noodles, and also featured a support house, which was set up for Scouting volunteers to provide, other assistance, not food related, at that site. Very, very awesome bit of community work, humanitarian action by the Scouts of Indonesia. And in Mongolia, the Scout Association of Mongolia recently implemented what they called the WASH Project. The theme of the project was Children and Youth Together for Water, Sanitation, and Hygiene. I'm assuming that's what WASH stands for, Water, Sanitation, and Hygiene. Especially in light of the ongoing pandemic, access to clean water and the attendant good hygiene and sanitation practices that flow from it. My gosh, what a dad joke. That's a very essential part of just maintaining good human health in general, especially in this very crazy pandemic-y time. So this was another Messengers of Peace-backed project and had a few different manifestations. For one, it did provide soap to schools through what was called the Washi Warriors Club. Love that name. And this was... the clubs will basically have, small established groups in each school that has been reached out to. Students will be taught about the importance of using soap when washing their hands. There will be tutorial videos about sanitation and hygiene and all of that stuff. And in total, this is going to affect about 20 schools in 10 provinces, about 579 students in total. So in addition to actually, providing the soap, they'll be doing the training. This will be available online for students involved in the project. There's actually apparently a Facebook page. You can search it up, Washi Warrior Mongolia, on Facebook. See what they are doing. And finally, here's an idea for possibly preserving Scouting properties. Camp Samak, out near Oshawa, Ontario, here in Canada, was recently designated as a heritage property. It's been, of course, used by Scouting families for generations, and now it has been deemed protected and significant under the Ontario Heritage Act. This was evidently the result of a unanimous vote by the Oshawa City Council a couple of Mondays ago at their council meeting. As a heritage property, it means the camp will be protected from development. Any future alterations of the site will need to be individually approved by the Oshawa City Council. But evidently, it will still be, of course, available for use in its current configuration by Scouts, and I don't know if it will open up, also to sort of more the general public. I assume so. Because, of course, there's hiking trails and other things through the property. But very, very cool to know that at least one Scout camp in Canada is not likely to be turned into condominiums anytime soon. And that is all the news I have for you this week. Thank you again for listening. And until next time, be prepared.